that your businesses can look actually on your website and see that that's done properly as well. So RJ has that. So that's another thing as well. Also, we provide training for your staff. We actually will give you the Master License Service System. So we provide training on that. So you can look up businesses on your system as well. Also, on the application end, you retain taking as much time to do all of your internal work that you need to do from your planning end, Mitch, as well, and taking as much time as you do now, and that doesn't change at all as far as that goes. We also will take a look at your database initially. We've done an initial look at that as well to see as far as the level of effort when conversion happens, to see what that will take when the conversion takes place. We also will pursue missing information, insufficient funds. We can retain all of your application information and provide electronic copies whenever you need that on an ongoing basis. We provide reports, and we give you, with the training, we give you all the information on the reports that we provide as well. On the internet, your businesses will have the opportunity to use credit card for payments as well on online filings. Of course, there's an interlocal required for any agreement. That interlocal can be discarded within 60 days notice at any time by MLS and the city. We have not had cities do that. We have very satisfied partners. In your packets, I recommend that you call any of our cities and for references. I always tell staff at cities, when we go out to cities, don't take my word for it, call cities and call them for references and find out how they are doing. We do have business rules before we go live that we talk to cities about, and how you want your city set up in our system, and because cities have different requirements. And we also give cities a responsibility matrix before we even set this up, and we coach cities on what happens down the road as far as what the things are that are going to happen in place. There's a lot of things to this. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty. Those are the basic outlines. I want to give you the opportunity to give some feedback on this tonight for the next few minutes as we close. So that's basically the nuts and bolts of it that I wanted to just present to you. We've been, like I said, for a year and a half now. We've been just having a conversation with RJ and Vicki, and we just wanted to bring it to you tonight for consideration and to have some material to look at as well.
Question, that's good to me. I think I was surprised and heartened to hear when I sent the stuff to RJ a week and a half ago when we had Liz Luce at breakfast, and she was talking about the programs and that kind of stuff, and it had reminded me we had gone through and put another entity onto the state, our state master license and business licenses earlier this year. And I remember clicking through to see if Washougal was on there to file everything at the same time, and it wasn't. So then when Liz was there, I came back and I sent off to RJ. I said, hey, why don't we've actually been quietly looking at that. You want us to go ahead and bring it forward. So,
from what I heard you say, it sounds like you're allowing the businesses to do their permit process through the city, or business licenses. Does this follow through with anything that we have to comply with through? Do we get permitting? We get permits done through, from the city has to go through, water permitting and that type of thing. Does that play that part of it out for us?
This is just on business licenses themselves.
How does he know who has filed? Does it come to him as an email?
As far as applications?
From you?
Yeah, applications will come in. We'll send completed applications only, and it'll come in on a Word attachment email, correct?
Plus I expect some money at some point too.
Well, okay, but how does that check and balance work then? Where does that, explain that just a little bit about the.
The money will come through EFT, 4 to 5 times a month, electronic fund transfers, just like you get your DOR transactions now.
Yes, that was, I never hadn't thought about that, but that is
Yeah.
pretty significant when you stop and think, how do we track that and how do we?
Well, there's also some back and forth. The state will be able to tell us at some point, my understanding is, who they have state master licenses for that reside in the city of Washougal that the city of
Yes.
Washougal doesn't hold a license for.
Exactly.
And vice versa, which is one of the upsides I saw to this, that, you know, potentially, there's probably an incremental, small amount of additional revenue in it for the city. But really what it gets down to, right now, you can file a business out of your home with the state because you need a state unified business identifier number.
UBI, there you go.
But, you know, other than the city of Washougal kind of sort of, you know, having a business license, there's nobody out there going, and by the way, you need a business license from the city.
So
of
the city
Washougal.
would report to the state through this process, but the state also reports back to the city in that.
I think in this case, when you file online with the state for your state master business license and you enter in the information for Washougal and that being the location for it, it will go to another page most likely that will bring up the city of Washougal's
Yes.
licensing requirements.
One of the things with partnerships that city partners really like is their compliance usually goes up, as you were alluding to. With partners that we actually tell you about businesses that are in your locale that you may not have known about otherwise.
Yep.
So the compliance goes up. And you may not be looking for that from a revenue standpoint, but just from a registration standpoint. Exactly.
How much time does staff, be at the front desk or department heads, how much time do you guys put into this, that any of the permits that we're now not gonna spend time on?
Total estimate on mail outs and,
Well, I mean, we're, on a renewal process, we're probably mailing out close to 600 business license renewals. So it's.
At one time.
Yeah, one time at the end of the year, so we gotta ramp up, I would say, 8 to 10 hours of Vicky's time just printing those off, and you've gotta go fold them, seal them, and put postage on them. So it's a significant savings.
then they come in individually,
Hmm?
then they come back individually.
And then they do, yeah, they do come back and doing a process. For a business license application, putting in our system, it takes maybe 10 or 15 minutes to load all that information in there to get it ready to process.
Mitch, how many new business licenses do you sign off on a given year? In other words, not renewals, but
Well, I try to look at them on every Friday, and there's probably anywhere from, you know, a half dozen to a dozen they come in typically.
and those are all new ones because you wouldn't see renewals.
I don't
Once
see-
it's been approved
Once
once.
it's been approved, I'm out of it, yeah. Same with the chief, we both have to sign off on those. But under this system, that wouldn't change, is my understanding. So
Correct.
you'd still have to look at that.
Right.
And sign off.
One of the things, like today, I did a business inspection, they had a Washington license, but didn't have a city license. And they've been in there for 9, 10 months.
And that's probably another benefit, because the state has stronger requirements for business license. I mean, for us, we get a $25 annual fee for that, but at some point, how much pressure do you put to capture that $25 fee where it becomes, you know, more cost?
I realize we'll giggle over this one, but I'm gonna ask the question because the fire chief requires that you call in and get a permit for recreational burning. And I understand that, but at what point do you cut off that this, because that may be done through the city website, let's say someday that goes online.
Sure.
And we do it that way. At what point do we not use his service for a fire permit?
Well, this again gets back only to business licenses.
Oh.
So only if you're doing
apologize.
business in
Okay,
the city.
I apologize. Gotcha.
And it's still your
I was
business
just-
license, yeah. So the key concept is processing.
Gotcha.
That's,
Okay.
yeah, still your business license.
How does the pricing structure work on it?